Hello doll fans and welcome back to Beauty Inside a Box. Today I've got a fun video for you. We are going to be talking about some strange and creepy, cursed dolls. These are like actual doll lines that companies thought would be successful, but actually the kind of concept or the design of the doll or the look of the doll came off kind of creepy and weird and uncanny. I made one of these videos once before and now I'm making a second video because I thought of some more dolls we could talk about. Let me know if you know any of these dolls. Let me know if you know any more creepy dolls I could talk about in a future video. But anyway, let's talk about some creepy cursed dolls. I just want to say that I love spooky stuff. Like Halloween is like my favorite time of year. But anyway, I find some of these dolls kind of fascinating. First of all, we're going to talk about Dusty. Now, Dusty came out in 1976 by the toy maker Kenner, the company which also made like the Star Wars action figures and stuff like that. And she was meant to be a competitor for Barbie. She was advertised as being America's most beautiful doll. Honey. She was very similar to Barbie in a lot of ways. She had the blonde hair, except she had more of an emphasis on sports, and the doll actually had the ability to like twist at the torso and hit a ball. But yeah, I think the problem with this doll is her face. Her face is so creepy. The open-mouthed smile, very weird. Her lips are like a really bright colour. I'm not sure if that was fashionable at the time. She just kind of looks like she's in pain, and the haircut is also doing her absolutely no favours. I thought this doll was kind of creepy, but not as creepy as some of the other dolls on this list. Trust me. Okay, next up we have Mystics, and I think these dolls are a pretty clear knockoff of Monster High, or maybe they're just inspired by Monster High. These dolls look fine, they look fine. I think the weirdest part about them though was they had this incredibly bizarre gimmick where when you take off their wigs, they had another face on the other side of their head. So you could spin the whole head around and they'd have like a different face with a different facial expression. Terrifying. That is some nightmare fuel. And I know Monster High kind of ushered in a new phase of slightly more unconventional dolls, but I think this was a bit too far. This is weird. This is weird. Okay, next up we have a truly cursed doll. This doll is terrifying. This is Little Miss No Name. And she was a doll which came out in 1965, and she was dressed in a burlap sack, and she had no shoes, and her hand was out like this, like she was begging. Just all very, very sad, sad imagery. And I think the whole point of this doll was it was meant to make the child feel guilty and want to look after it and protect it and nurture it. Very kind of manipulative marketing in a lot of ways. And her eyes look terrifying. They're like bloodshot and huge, wide open eyes. And she even comes with a little plastic tear that you can wash away. So bizarre. The tear stuck into a little hole in her eye as well. That's also kind of weird. I need someone to love me. I want to learn to play. Please take me home with you and brush my tears away. Terrifying. Okay, next up we have Flatsies. Now, these dolls were originally introduced in the 70s as well. Lots of creepy dolls came out of the 70s. What was going on in the 70s? Originally, we got these cute little kind of childlike dolls, and then later on we got these slightly more grown-up, kind of teenage fashion dolls, and they were called Fashion Flatsies. The whole concept of these dolls was that they were flat. They are effectively like really flat. It looks like they've been deflated or like run over by a steamroller. It's very creepy. They still have like a little bit of dimension to their face and to their bodies, but like fundamentally they are flat. And I'm not sure if they were inspired by like paper dolls or something. It's such a weird concept and I find it really, really creepy. Not to mention these dolls have like weird looking faces, really weird. They came in their own plastic picture frames. So again, also kind of creepy. It's like they're pictures that have come to life, which is like not something you want in your house. It kind of reminds me of those like creepy moving portraits at the Phantom Manor. I think the little kid ones are quite cute, but the fashion Flatsies are just really creepy. And these dolls were quite popular at the time, supposedly. I don't see it, I don't get it, they're weird. Okay, I actually saw these dolls at a toy shop near my house, and these dolls inspired this video. I was like, I have to make a video about creepy dolls, because these dolls are so creepy. These are called Unique Eyes. They're on the market now, and from a distance, they look like really nice dolls. The artwork on the box is really cute. They've got fun little fashions that are removable and brushable hair. They're nice quality dolls, but then when you get closer, you will see that they have these really creepy glass inset eyes that follow you around the room. And that's meant to be like the selling point of the doll, that it follows you with its eyes. So shifty, so suspicious. And also their inset eyes have a weird uncanny valley kind of vibe to them. And when I was in the shop, when I stood at a certain angle, their eyes would just be completely white, like you couldn't see the pupils at all, which was weird. Okay, next up I thought we would talk about these dolls. They're called Shorties. And I mean, there's a lot I really like about these dolls. They're kind of fabulous. I love their clothes. They came out in the early noughties, so they really have that whole noughties psychedelic aesthetic. But I thought the fact that you could swap their heads around was a bit weird. For these dolls, to change their outfit, you just took their head off and changed the heads. And they also look kind of like squished. They look like someone stepped on them or something. Like, they're very distorted, and I found that kind of weird as well. Don't get me wrong, I do quite like these, they're quite cute, but they're just very odd. Okay, next up we have Makeies, and these dolls, the concept was quite clever, and I remember seeing it on the news at the time because it was a big deal. But the gimmick for these dolls was that you would go online, create your own character on a website that was kind of similar to The Sims. You could change the eye color and the hair color and change the face, and you created this doll online, and then they would 3D print it for you and send it to you. And the dolls cost about £100 each, bit spenny, and they would come out looking like this. I just feel like these dolls exist way too much in the uncanny valley. They have these glass inset eyes, which I am never a massive fan of. I don't mind them on Rainbow High dolls, but these, it looks wrong. And they just look really distorted. Also, the idea of having a doll that looks like you is a little bit weird. It's like Coraline. It's like a voodoo doll. Weird. Okay, next up we have Susie Sad Eyes. What are these dolls? This one also came out in the 70s. And this doll again tried to kind of play into the child's like guilty feeling, like they felt responsible for this doll, like they had to take it home and look after it. She's definitely not as creepy as Little Miss No Name, but she's still kind of creepy. This one in this picture kind of looks like Wednesday Addams. She has a very forlorn face, she looks kind of sad. And I can just so imagine this doll like moving at night or something, you know what I mean? Like you wake up in the night and she's like fallen off the table, or she's like sat at the end of your bed or something. Creepy. This doll's creepy! Next up I wanted to really quickly touch on Only Hearts Club. I've spoken about this doll line a couple times before, but they were kind of meant to be a bit like American Girl. They had like books that you could buy to go along with the dolls, and they were meant to be like a kind of companion for whoever bought them, but they are creepy looking! They look terrifying! Their faces, again, exist in a very uncanny valley territory. They have kind of forlorn looking faces. They look like they're staring into your soul. These dolls have seen something. There's a darkness behind their eyes. Last but not least, I thought we would talk about Baby Did It. I don't normally talk about baby dolls on this channel, but this one I felt like I had to talk about. It says here on the box, when you feed her, she dirties her diaper. Then you really change her with no real diaper mess. So basically this doll, you know, does its business. It's just gross. I mean, like, I feel like they've done every single baby doll gimmick under the sun, and it was only a matter of time before they did something like this. It's not the worst, obviously, like, you know, having to change a baby's nappy is like part of life. And, you know, it's just not something I imagine kids fantasize about when they're imagining looking after a child. Also, the doll just looks kind of weird. Its eyes look vacant, it looks a bit boss-eyed, like one eye is over there, one eye is over here. And its little, like, tuft of blonde hair at the top Yeah, creepy. I think this doll would haunt my nightmares, personally. So there we have it, doll fans. I spoke about some creepy and weird doll lines that I remember. Please let me know in the comments if you can think of any more creepy dolls that I can maybe talk about. Also, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Let me know what you thought of my list in the comments. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram and TikTok. And I will see you real soon, doll fans. Bye!